Hello, Neshoba. Coming to you live from the Neshoba News Studio, I'm Julia reporting with Garen on this rainy Friday morning.
Today, a look at next week's homecoming, a wrap-up of this week's sports events, Spirit Week update, and much more.
For those of you who did not know, October is National Bullying Prevention Month. Bullying is something that should never happen, and our district has made it a goal to bring awareness to our schools.
Here's a video on the topic.
My experiences with bullying growing up were, first it was name-calling in school when I was younger.
I was different, and I stood out for some reason. And those things that made me stand out were those things that people wanted to make fun of.
Even walking through the hallways was torture.
For every single name, for every single punch, someone feels it, not just through their ears or on their skin, but in here and in here.
There's something really deep about having someone in whatever way, whether it's in person or on the internet, about having someone look at you and say, I see that you're there.
There's no question that individuals who are, quote, bystanders have more power than they realize.
For every bullying victim, there's probably 10 bystanders, if not more, in a crowded hallway.
And then if just one person in that group is like, wait a second, maybe we shouldn't do this. Maybe all of a sudden the dynamic completely changes.
Because when you take action, you have a ripple effect. That is, people look around and say, the new norm is help, do something.
People jump, they'd be like, I want to be like that. And you start seeing people start helping out.
If you don't have the courage to go to the person in front of other people that are bullying them, find a moment when they're alone and just kind of say, I see what's happening to you and I feel bad about it.
Stand by the person being bullied. Really.
Talk to them at their locker. Sit next to them in class. Sit next to them on the bus.
Being their friend, reaching out, smiling, inviting them to sit with you at lunchtime.
And listen to what they have to say, because they're not getting heard.
Most importantly, supporting them, letting them know they're not alone, and there's always ways that they can get help.
I think that would help because those little things would help people feel more comfortable.
Do one kind thing a day, it'll turn into 2, it'll turn into 3.
That 10 seconds of courage to go up to someone and say one word, one phrase.
One compliment, one smile, one, hey, how's it going?
Have the courage to stand up and say something and help the person.
Speak up and say, hey, we don't talk like that anymore.
You're not going to get laughed at if you say you don't know that person's life, you don't know what they're going through, you don't know what their home life is, you don't know anything about them.
That's how movements are started. It's just one person says something, one person speaks up.
Just say you're awesome. It's not that hard. You're awesome is 2 words, and maybe that can just change someone's life forever.
It's like a hand when somebody's drowning and grabbing hold of that hand. You don't need 50 hands. All you need is one hand to be yanked up so that that person can catch their breath.
Every time that you speak out is one less person getting bullied every day.
I think you can save someone's life if you do that.
The homecoming game and dance will be held next week. There have been a number of changes to homecoming, so we hope to clear up any confusion. School spirit will be in full force during this upcoming Spirit Week, so make sure you take part. In addition, please make sure to nominate a classmate for homecoming court. You can find a link on Twitter as well as on Mrs. Carter's website or on Neshoba Cup's Remind app.
The themes for the days are as follows. Monday is pick your favorite holiday. For example, you could put a wreath in your head, wear red in honor of Valentine's Day, or maybe wrap yourself in an American flag to celebrate the 4th of July. Have fun with it. Then Tuesday is New England Sports Day, and Wednesday will be Camo Day.
Thursday will be One Color Day with a battle between the classes. Seniors wear green, juniors wear white, sophomores wear black, and freshmen wear yellow. Lastly, on Friday is Neshoba Spirit Day. Break out your Neshoba gear for the football game that night. Looks like we have a fun week ahead.
For those of you interested in attending the homecoming dance, it has been moved to Saturday, the 29th from 6:30 to 10 p.m. Please take note on the time change. Tickets will be going on sale starting on Monday in the CAF. The dance is fall themed, so be ready to have a great time.
Neshoba's Amnesty International Club will be holding its first meeting next Tuesday, the 25th at 2:30 in the cafeteria. For more information, see Mr. Ettinger or go to neshobaai.com. Stay tuned for more information.
Now on to
Once again, Cairo's streets are the scene of running battles. Protests started a few days ago when people gathered near the Defence Ministry, demanding an end to military rule. But early in the morning, things escalated.
In 1961, 2 Portuguese students had a toast to freedom. For that, they were thrown in prison for 7 years. Outraged by the news, lawyer Peter Benenson founded Amnesty International to fight for freedom of opinion around the world. Today, Amnesty International is a permanent global organization with more than 3 million supporters in over 150 countries.
Thanks for that video, Mr. Ettinger. Now, onto our sports anchors, Sam and Taylor, for a wrap-up of this week's athletics.
What's up, Neshoba? Taylor here with Sam for your recap on this week's Neshoba Sports. First up this week was the golf team's Mid-Watch B title match. There was a tough competition at the Cyprian Keys for the championship. Cam Roberts played well and finished 4th with Dean Anaxis only 4 strokes behind.
Great job, guys. On Tuesday, there was a soccer doubleheader against Shrewsbury with the boys' game at 5 and the girls' senior night at 7. The boys played well and it was back and forth the whole game, but lost 1-0 with a goal with 2 minutes left. The girls won 2-0. Congrats to the seniors Katie Petroli, Katie Curtis, Keegan Castles, Jacqueline Harnett, Sarah Duhame, Danielle Scafidi, Teresa Don, Mariel McCaskill, and Grace Kiernan on a great Neshoba career.
At the halfway point of the week, field hockey played against Shrewsbury. After a hard-fought game, the girls lost 1-0. Second, the 2 cross-country powerhouses took to the trail as our own cross-country team took on Westboro. The match came down to the wire, but Westboro pulled it out 27-31.
Lastly, to wrap up Wednesday, volleyball went out against Worcester South. After dominating the game, they won 3-0 with impressive performances by everyone.
Yesterday, after the boys and girls soccer teams battled with Groton Dunstable, the girls team won 2-1 and the boys shut out the opponent 2-0.
Don't forget, tonight's home football game against Shepherd Hill is USA themed. Come out in your red, white, and blue at 7 o'clock to cheer on the team.
Tomorrow night is the boys soccer senior night against Algonquin. Congrats and good luck to Jasper Yang, Garen LaPlante, Grant Edwards, Connor McLeod, James McCaffrey, Keenan Doyle, Matt Cunningham, Jim Irvin, and Mike Pearl. Great job this season, guys.
Finally, both green and gold cheer teams will be battling in a cheer competition this Saturday. Good luck to our cheerleaders. That's all for sports. Back to you, Garen and Julia.
Thanks for the sports update. If you haven't heard, the first edition of the Chieftain Press newspaper will be released on Tuesday. You can pick up a copy in several different places in the school, including the Media Center, front office, and the CAF. Pick up your copy hot off the press and hear about what is going on in our school.
Heads up, Neshoba. National Honor Society is collecting new and gently used toys for Toys for Tots. This drive will be running from October 17th to December 9th. The toys can be placed in boxes located in the main office, inside by the front doors, and in the media center. The boxes will be there during parent-teacher conferences, and any donations will be greatly appreciated.
Freshmen will be delivering speeches today during activity period. Good luck to all the freshmen running for class office. It looks like it's going to be a tight race. Now for the last of the Neshoba Cup hype videos. Last but not least, it's the freshman video.
Mr. D, who do you think is going to win the Neshoba Cup?
I think the freshmen are going to win the Neshoba Cup.
Freshman. Cup.
The freshman.
Cup.
Oh, freshman, definitely.
Yeah. It's 50, aka Ferrari F50. Break it down. I got a lot of living to do before I die, and I ain't got time to waste. Let's make it. You say you a gangster, but you never nothing. You say you a wankster, and you need to stop running. What makes you think that I won't run up on you with the we do this all the time. Right now we on the grind, so hurry up and cop and go with selling it. Sure that she's so fine, I gotta make her mine. I like that, gotta be one of a kind. I question every time, punch them with every line. I'm with their mind, I make them press rewind. They know they can't shine if I'm around the rhyme. Been on parole since 94, cause I commit. I say in my line, I did it 3 to 9. The D's ran up in my crib, you know who dropping down. You say you a gangster.
Thank you, freshmen, for that video. At this time, we will have the freshmen go to the lower gym for elections, and sophomores to the auditorium for class ring presentations. Juniors and seniors will stay in their homeroom to watch our next segment presented by the Best Buddies team. That's all for today. Stay tuned for the pledge, and don't forget to follow us on Twitter at chieftain_chat.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hi, I'm Mr. Kendall. This is my son Cameron. It's recently come to our attention that some students in the school have been making fun of other students with disabilities, including name-calling, not allowing certain individuals to sit at certain lunch tables, and making unfair judgments. So today, we'd like to give you a different perspective about people with disabilities in the hopes that you will form a different opinion. Please pay attention during the following video, be respectful, and take part in the discussion questions that follow the video. Thank you.
Now, what may be the most remarkable coming out event we've ever seen. A little girl is unable to speak a word or connect to the world around her in any way. Or so everyone thought, until she turned 11 and suddenly something remarkable happened. ABC's John McKenzie has the story of a girl breaking out of her own body.
You don't know what it feels like to be me. When you can't sit still because your legs feel like they're on fire, or it feels like 100 ants are crawling up your arms.
How is it that these powerful words came out of this flailing body?
People look at me and assume I am dumb, because I can't talk.
Something extraordinary happened to this 14-year-old who was written off as mentally deficient, something that may help unlock the mysteries of a baffling disorder.
What do I want? I want to be like every other kid, but I can't. because I am Carly.
Born in Toronto, Canada, Carly Fleischman was 2 years old when it became clear she was not keeping up with her twin sister Taryn.
When you're told your child is going to be developmentally delayed, that they might achieve the developmental level of a 6-year-old, it's like being kicked in the gut.
When Arthur Fleischman and his wife Tammy learned the diagnosis was autism, they expected the worst, that the twins were headed in different directions.
And how bad did it get for Carly, those first few years?
Awful. Part of her delays prevented her from walking, from sitting up.
It was clear that Carly, like most autistic children, was lost in her own world, perpetually swimming underwater.
And all the doctors would say, you're the parent. You should do as much as you feel you need to do for this kid.
Carly, stand up.
The Fleischmans were on their own. Experts told them that early intervention was critical.
You use your fork.
So ever since Carly was 3, her therapy has been intensive, unrelenting.
This took about 40 to 60 hours a week of one-to-one therapy. She always had about 3 to 4 therapists working with her. And if you're not getting results with one approach, you move on and you try something else.
You didn't give up. You pushed Carly.
And when you look in Carly's eyes, you can see an innate intelligence. So we never gave up. We never gave up.
But if there was intelligence, Carly's ceaseless rocking, flailing arms, and tantrums hid any trace of it. Worse, she couldn't speak. Not a word.
I did not have any expectation that she would have a fluent form of communication.
Dr. Nicole Walton-Allen is a clinical psychologist who led Carly's therapy program.
Her profile was that of a child who was severely autistic and more than likely moderately mentally retarded.
And did you ever think about institutionalizing her?
We had friends saying, you've been plugging away, spending thousands of dollars on therapy. You're not really seeing the progress. So, of course, you start thinking about, should she be in a group home?
But you decided against it.
I could never do it. Could never do it. How can you give up your kid?
What do you want?
Despite thousands of hours of therapy over months and years, Carly's progress was excruciatingly slow. That is until one day 3 years ago when Carly was 11. She ran to a computer for the first time, and what happened next was a breakthrough so profound it would finally pierce Carly's silent, secret world.
And she was quite distressed, and she starts to spell H-U-R, and it was like T, hurt. And then a little bit later on, she spells H-E-L, and we kind of pushed her to finish, and she puts P. So she spells help. Afterwards, she sort of got up, went behind the couch, and she threw up.
What are you cheering?
Barbara Fenton Nash is one of Carly's longtime therapists.
So what did this tell you?
It told us that there was a lot more going on there than we knew. And to us, that was a breakthrough moment because we hadn't specifically taught her the words.
And at first, we didn't believe it. Knowing this child for 10 years and never seeing her write a thing, of course you're going to be skeptical.
Everyone was, including her other therapists, who were now desperate to see proof. But Carly refused to type, exhibiting the same hysterical behavior that led experts to label her as mentally retarded.
She would strip off her clothes. She would go into the bathroom and she would engage in fecal smearing. So the typing was great, but no one could see it.
Show me.
What was needed was some tough love. If Carly wanted something, she would have to type for it.
First type, and then you get. Let's go.
Oh, she had to work for it. If she wanted information, if she wanted to go somewhere, she had to type by herself.
Finally, several months later, Carly began to type for others.
She started to realize that by communicating, she had power over her environment.
And what came through her finger, typing one letter at a time, with fluency no one could believe, was astonishing.
I am autistic, but that's not who I am. Take time to know me before you judge me. I am cute, funny, and like to have fun.
Through her torrent of words, Carly began to unravel the mysteries behind her often wild behavior. Like banging her head.
Because if I don't, it feels like my body is going to explode. It's just like when you shake a can of Coke. If I could stop it, I would, but it's not like turning a switch off. I know what is right and wrong, but it's like I have a fight with my brain over it.
Use your words.
And Carly was not shy about expressing her desires and frustrations.
I want to be able to go to school with normal kids, but not have them getting upset or scared if I hit a table or scream. I want something that will put out the fire.
We were also horrified because for years we had spoken in front of her as if she wasn't there.
Now, for the first time, Carly was able to have conversations with her parents.
You think you can write back to Dad?
I want to go on a snowmobile. Can we do it? Will you go on one? I think it would be fun.
So here's your daughter, and finally you get to meet her.
Mm-hmm.
What was that like?
Overwhelming. Overwhelming. I stopped looking at her as a disabled person.
You promised. Did you lie to me?
And started looking at her as a sort of sassy, mischievous teenage girl.
I want people to know that no one is telling me what to say, and I don't have a hand up my butt like a puppet.
Carly has been very clear that she sees herself as a normal child, locked in a body that does things that she has no control over.
Side by side with her twin sister Taryn, it would be easy to dismiss Carly as intellectually challenged. That is, until you ask her a question.
Carly, why do autistic kids cover their ears, flap their hands, hum, and rock?
It's a way for us to drown out all sensory input that overloads us all at once. We create output to block out input.
Carly's brain, unlike most people's, is overwhelmed by the senses of sight and sound, taste and smell.
Our brains are wired differently. We take in many sounds and conversations at once. I take over 1,000 pictures of a person's face when I look at them. That's why we have a hard time looking at people.
The one thing she can control is when and where she'll type.
So this is John.
This is John.
And usually she needs to be motivated.
Finish up. You're doing great.
When I tried making conversation with Carly, she would not type back.
I'll tell you anything you want to know.
Her finger hovering over the keys for hours. Until I brought up my teenage son.
He wants to play football.
No, she's smiling. It's going to be something funny.
Are you embarrassed?
Come on, we want to hear what you have to say.
Yes, I guess he's cute.
2 years that we've been communicating, and every time she writes something, there's a little bit of that sense of awe. The room resembled a ship's cabin. Its walls
Dear
made of
Dad,
wooden laths
I love when you read to
covered
me,
by many coats
and I love that you believe in me. I know I'm not the easiest kid in the world.
Give me a kiss.
However, you are always there for me, holding my hand and picking me up. I love you.
I'll go through many sleepless nights to hear that. I'll spend every penny we have to hear that.
Was there one writing in particular that left a lump in your throat?
In this writing where she says, "You've never been in my body. I wish for one day you could be in my body."
A year after we first met Carly, she is happier, calmer, more independent.
Come on, let's get this in the pan.
She's even writing a novel.
I think that humankind is just oblivious to things that have been around for many years.
She also has her own internet blog and twitters regularly, answering questions from people all over North America.
I think Carly knows that she now has a voice that can help other kids. Now she looks at herself as someone who can make a mark on the world. And that's got to be life-changing.
What do you hope for Carly now?
I want her to be happy. I want her to have dreams and goals and accomplish those goals in spite of her challenges.
I think the only thing I can say is don't give up. Your inner voice will find its way out. Mine did.
At this time, we ask that your homeroom has a respectable conversation about what you just saw in the video. In order to lead your conversation, we have provided you with a few discussion questions that are posted on the screen. It would be helpful for everyone to participate in your class discussions. Hope you had a thoughtful discussion with your homeroom. We will be closing this presentation with a short video made by past Neshoba journalism students.
I think it's just rude and unnecessary. You can use other words instead.
Besides, we're all different. God made us, and Jesus made us, and we can't change who we are.
Somewhere over the rainbow. You find me, oh, somewhere over the rainbow. Bluebirds fly, and the dream that you dare to, oh why, oh why.
I think it's really disrespectful, and just some people don't know how it affects others.
Personally means to like stop spreading the word so people's feelings don't get hurt.
When friends work together, they can stop the R word. Today.